Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, the show where we talk about new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons from both Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG. We cover 20 new titles from each of the sites. This is not a review show as we have not looked at any of these products in full, so please venture into them at your own discretion. We do include alphabetical links to all the titles shown in this episode in our video description, so if you want to help the channel, please use those links to purchase these titles. You can also support the channel by subscribing and purchasing one of our books, including Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, shown on screen right now. It too is linked in the video description. This week's episode is focused on titles released between May 21st and May 27, 2021. Our first title is In the Shadow of Tower Silveraxe. It's a low to mid-level adventure for 4 to 8 players. It's not 5e, but rather old school revival. So if you're interested in playing sort of an older style game, this is a good option. It's from a really cool sounding publisher, Gelatinous Cubism, and it's only $10 and 64 pages, written by Jacob Fleming. It says, it's a 64-page adventure module zine designed for use with old school essentials or basic expert fantasy rules. It's old school in both flavor and design mindset, weird and fantastic pulp adventure. Not all encounters are balanced and survival is not a guarantee. So this one's a little bit more risky than maybe a newer adventure would be because it's not necessarily balanced for survival. So that's cool. Let's see what the story is about. It says, a chaotic group of outlaws and brigands have braved the labyrinth of shadow and taken control of the ancient ruined Tower of the Builders from its elven stewards. Their leader, 𝙁Silveraxe, seeks the power which the elves have vowed to keep hidden. Immortality and strange magical abilities granted to one greedy enough to perform the ritual. Upon taking the tower, he tortured the elves to make them reveal their protected secret. Most of them resisted and met their end, but a few reluctantly gave in and revealed the secret they had kept for millennia. That sounds interesting. I like kind of the mystery of it. Let's take a look at some of these previews. Okay, cool. It's got that old school line art going on. Very nice. I like all this. Very professional. Good layout here. Good spacing. Oh, some color in here too. That's good. Yeah, I like this. And we're only seeing 7 of the 64 here. Let's look at some more of it here. I think this is the first title from this author. So very nice first effort here. Yeah, I really like that art. Very cool. All right. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun adventure with kind of that old school feel, this might be a really good option for you. It's on DriveThruRPG. Our next title is Hex 26.35, The Camp of the Horsefolk. It's also for old school essentials, so another OSR title. It's from Third Kingdom Games, $3.95, 33 pages. One of the stretch goal hexes from the Filling in the Blanks Kickstarter, so this was part of a Kickstarter originally, explores a new corner of the region covered by the populated hexes. It features several barrow mounds, one containing a powerful undead horror, and introduces the Horsefolk and 2 race as class options. Interesting. The standard Kabali and the Kabali Destrier. The Horsefolk are a nomadic people following the invisible ley lines that cross the surface of the world in a tangled web. Interesting. Yeah, I always like the covers of this series because it's focused on hexes. So I'm not sure if, I'm guessing it covers a single hex per issue. If you guys that wrote this book are watching, please let us know in the comments. But I'm guessing each title, covers a single hex, which is impressive. I mean, if it's 33 pages for a single hex, I mean, that's a lot of information. So I really think that's cool. Yeah, see, they're focused here on 26.35. So I really think that's the case. Definitely would like to get this series. All right, looking at the full look at that art. It's just so cool. It's different. Yeah, and so then they give you the intro. I think we've covered one of these titles in a previous episode, but I mean, I don't know if they're up to 26 if they're going in order, but that's really interesting. Yeah, Seems like there's a lot of detail in here. So if you're looking for, you could plug this hex into your campaign anywhere. It doesn't have to be part of this integrated series of hexes. So definitely a good option. I'm sure you could convert it to 5e with some of the tools online, or you could use it as an OSR. Lots of people are playing OSR these days. So very cool. Check it out. All right, next we have Frog God Games Adventures Death Ship of the Roach Princess. How about that? This art is so cool. It looks like some sort of roach god here with some skulls. I like all these adventures too. They look really cool. And it's for 5e, but they did release, we're not showing the other ones on screen, but there are other variations out there as well for different systems. So if you play other systems, you might check those out as well. It is $11 and 34 pages, and the author is Matt Finch. It says a mysterious ship in the city's harbor holds terrifying secrets, and the characters are trapped on board. This plane-shifting, roach-infested, puzzle-laden adventure offers fabulous riches, but also offers a fate worse than death. Recommended for 3 to 5 players of levels 1 to 3. And it offers a party 1 to 2 chilling sessions of gameplay. So that's cool. I like the feel of it. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, it says plane-shifting, roach-infested, puzzle-laden. I mean, those are a lot of fun things. So they got really creative with that description there to kind of let us know that there's going to be a lot happening in here. Yeah, some nice artwork. So they've got some of the monsters here and some maps. Let's look at the full size. All right, 6 out of the 34 pages to look at. Nice table of contents. So they've got quite a few sections here covered, and they've got handouts. Okay, that's always nice. Give those to your players. It looks like it'd be pretty easy to print too. It doesn't look like it's going to be too intensive on your printer. Maybe the map might be, all maps usually are, but unless you print grayscale. But there's not a ton of, background colors or anything that would mess up your printer. But maybe there's even a way to print it in grayscale. I don't print a lot of stuff, so you might be able to print it in grayscale without trying too hard there. All right, love the cover. It looks like a fun adventure. Check it out. Next we have Races of Center Space number 5, the Vharaga, I guess. I don't know. From Fruit Loops. It's 99 cents, so that's a pretty good price. 6 pages. Says it's the newest volume in a series of playable races for 5th edition rules. It's for the Vharaga, fierce armored warriors without fear. Each race in the series is from center space setting. While it's science fiction, it can easily be used with other genres. So it's got racial traits in the feat, new weapons, and a few suggestions for adapting it to other settings. So let's take a look at the preview here. The series, we looked at one last week, I think, and it's got some pretty good art. I haven't played a space Dungeons and Dragons game, but I know there's a lot of people that do. You might even be able to adapt this to something like, Star Frontier or not Star Frontier. That's an old game. Starfinder. So if you're looking for kind of a sci-fi looking race, check this out from Fruit Loops. Next we have Eye of Paris, Sharpshooters Bolstered by Magical Talent from Logan Laidlaw. It's also got the subtitle Trial of Heroes here. It's a 5th edition Ranger archetype, 3 pages for $2.99. It references the Mage's class, which is another product. The Eye of Paris is a minor Magecraft class which interacts with the Magecraft features of the Mage's class. These classes are designed to be setting appropriate to the material the Magus is used for, while allowing players to utilize other classes and not be tied down to a full spellcaster. That's nice. Sometimes you don't want to be a full-blown spellcaster. Alright, it uses points to bolster its abilities, such as increasing its range, negating disadvantage, striking many enemies at once, etc. It is based in creating a gunslinging or ranger fighter and designed to be highly modular. Alright, let's look at the quick preview. Logan always has a really nice covers. He's got a great artist he's working with. Yeah, so this must be like the key details here. Alright, so if you're looking for more to do with the Magus class, you can check out the Magus class here. But he's got a lot of options. I think that, there's all these titles down here that tie into the Magus. So might be worth checking out if you're looking to bring a new class to your campaign. Alright, this is an interesting one. Anna Holden's 5e Working Dogs. It says 5 working dog stats designed for 5th edition. Which is interesting because, we have like seeing eye dogs and other kinds of dogs in real life that assist us. So I'm assuming these would be something analogous in D&D. It's 25 pages for $2.99. Says it contains descriptions, stats, and rules for 5 different working dogs. Some may assist in combat, others in tracking, but each has rules regarding what they can do in combat. Each dog is unique in their abilities, designed for a specific purpose. There are also not class enforced, or a character of any class may have one of these champions, or companions, I should say. 4 of the dogs have a chart for leveling up at levels 5, 10, 15, and 20, so they can grow with the character. That's interesting. You don't see that a lot. So it looks like the 5 dogs are Protection Dog, Tracking Dog, Guard Dog, Herding Dog, and Thief's Dog. And, this is the best part. All proceeds from this work are going toward my own service dog fund. That's awesome. See, I didn't see that. I just briefly look at these guys to kind of see if they meet the criteria for inclusion. Like they have to have at least some sort of preview, and there's various other criteria. We have a video on that if you're interested. So that's awesome. So you spend the $2.99 and it's going to go towards the service dog fund. So worthy cause. I love when there's a charity piece to these books. Oh, look at that doggy. All right. So yeah, and it's got good art, nice layout and fonts and stuff. So good option to bring some dogs to the game. Yeah, I like that. I like how compact the pages are too, because you can just maybe even look at this on your phone pretty easily. So yeah, check this out and support those service dogs. Alright, Cities of Myth, Atlantis Divided for 5e as well. Lots of options here, guys, for purchase. So you can buy the PDF for 20, roughly 20. You can get soft cover, hardcover, all kinds of options here. It is 156 pages. And it says, in Atlantis Divided, thousands of years after the city was rent into a different plane, the characters can explore the god and magic-oriented surface, as well as the egalitarian and technologically focused deep. Political and cultural differences threaten to throw Atlantis into a second great calamity as various factions seek to prevent the unification of the greatest magical artifact known to exist. Ooh, okay, I want that. Whatever that artifact is. So it's got rich lore, including a small dynamic pantheon, new mechanics for 𝙒𝙚𝙙𝙪𝙧𝙚, underwater exploration, blue fire spells, and an alternative background called the Prism, 7 new factions, 6 new ancestries and 4 heritages, 26 new subclasses, 11 new backgrounds, 22 features, 24 magic items, a bestiary, Tier 1 introductory adventure, and 20 adventure arcs. I mean, that's like beginning to end. Things for your players, things for your DM, and an adventure. And it's from Realm Warp Media. So yeah, lots of authors, including Ryan Langer, Isaac May, Ashley May, Matthew Whitby, E.R.F. Jordan. Those are names you see a lot, So some experienced people working on this. All right, let's take a look at the interior. I'm guessing it's going to be a big preview, a lot of pages, because it's taken a minute here to scroll across. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel while we're waiting for this to populate. Like the video. Those things help the algorithm, help us get monetized. We're not monetized yet, so we'd appreciate that. And leave us a comment. Let us know what titles you're enjoying this week. Which ones look good? which ones you might use and how you might use them in your campaign. We love reading about that. And if you buy one of our books, let us know what you're doing with those. We always like to hear feedback on those as well. All right, Cities of Myth, here we go. So it's 99 pages, so that's a good chunk of the 156. I mean, that's more than half of the pages. But wow, look at this layout. I love the template they're using. They've got this really cool little border at the bottom. So it's very clean, very professional. You know, something to think about when you look at these books, right? Is how am I going to read this? Is it going to be painful? Am I going to struggle to find stuff, or is it going to be easy to read? And this looks like it's pretty easy to read. I mean, all the ones we've looked at today have been, which is nice. It's another reason why, you know, I want previews if I'm going to include the book, is I want to give you guys an option to look at that nice map there of the region. So yeah, quite a few pages here. We're not going to look at all of them, but I do like the artwork and the look of it. All right, Cities of Myth, DriveThruRPG. Next we have Warps, a world of adventure role-playing system, fantasy. It says fantasy classless D20 from Wyvern Editions. All right, that's a tongue twister. You know, there's always one every week, you guys. You know, hopefully you're not making a drinking game out of it. All right, from Joe Arnett. And let's see here. It says generic D20 rules for fantasy campaign settings. In this book, you will find new feats for fantasy characters, new racial templates and cultural backgrounds, an updated list of careers, extended rules for arcane arts and magic item creation, more than 200 spells, that's a lot, and rules to create realistic medieval kingdoms. It's $6.99 at 77 pages. So yeah, quite extensive contents here. It looks like they've got all the spells listed, which is nice. Nice to be able to find those in the table of contents. So let's look at the interior. All right. So it's mostly the table of contents here, but we'll see if we get to see anything beyond that. All right, nope. But I do like, I mean, the cover art is very nice, and I do like that they have a lot of spells. I really like spells, so if you're into spells, this could be really good. Yeah, and it looks like they have stuff on buildings, economics, population, all kinds of stuff here. And I'm guessing it's generic enough to use with other D20 systems, but it does say that it's 5e compatible, so if you're playing 5e, this might also work for that. All right. On to the next title from Necromancer Games, Temple of Dagon, or Dagon. Not sure how to say it. Dagon. All right, I like that art. Look at that. Really cool. I think it reminds me of this movie. I think there's a movie called Dagon, or I'm not sure what they call that movie either, but I've seen it and it's a good movie. Kind of a Cthulhu type thing. 34 pages, $11. It says a notorious treasure hunter seeks like-minded adventurers to assist him in acquiring valuables from a recently discovered ruined temple in the middle of the sea. The ancients of Atrotiri were said to have incredible knowledge, power, artifacts, magic, and more before the sea swallowed their civilization. It was said they covenanted with evil entities and reaped their reward. Can your heroes retrieve the lost treasures, or will they and their belongings add to a future archaeologist's find? It features an adventure on the salty sea with Atlantean-style mysteries and history, so it might go well with that other title we looked at, which was kind of Atlantis-themed. Contains 25 encounter areas in sunken ruins, an observatory, and the Temple of Dagon. 4 new mundane and magic items, 2 handouts, maps for the referee, and it's recommended for 46 players of levels 6 to 8, so it's a tier 2 adventure for 5e. Alright, let's look at these previews. So you got the table of contents, nice logo there. Let's see what we got in the full size. 34 pages here, so we get to see the 3, which is like kind of the intro. So nice layout and font. So it looks like it's going to be reasonably laid out here. Let's see kind of what some of the stuff is. So there's rumors. They've got a rumors section. Got various maps with numbering, which is helpful. Oh, look at all these new monsters. Okay, quite a few of this. I like this swarm of trilobites. I like trilobites. They don't get enough. They don't get enough attention in games or anything really. Equipment. So they've got a carpet of holding. Interesting. Okay. So check this out. If you're looking for a new module or you want some sort of Atlantis stuff, again, that might go well with the other one we looked at. I think it was this one, Cities of Myth. Yep. So maybe you can check both those out. All right. Next we have City of Lost Souls, an adventure for 5th edition from Salvation Games. And it's by Jelty Holmes or Alms. Not sure how you pronounce that. 22 pages for $3.99. Got some good images here of the product. As you can see, they've got a clean kind of wizard style layout, which is good. All right. It says The City of Lost is an adventure written by Salvation Games for 5th edition. It portrays a grim world in which almost each and every single creature is indebted to 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙚. Once in every 7 years, individuals are obliged to pay a soul shard to this devil baron during the soul reckoning. The unlucky ones who didn't get their hands on this sought-after gemstone are sacrificed in the fires of 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙚, the devil's volcano. All right, so it says during it you need to find your way in the city surrounding the volcano as you become part of the politics of the city in which you constantly need to watch your back. So that could be some good intrigue. It says a balanced adventure consisting of exploration, combat, and role-playing for a party of an average level of 1. So you could start with this with a new group. A map of the city of Tributar, including descriptions of all of its points of interest, descriptions of the various factions making up the political landscape of Tributar, a map of the Silk Queen's mansion, a dungeon that you need to explore to finish the adventure, and then artwork of some different places. Very cool. All right, let's look at the little previews. So yeah, I like their logo. Okay. Okay. If you're watching, your full-size preview is not working, but it is linked, so you might want to fix that. But I think it looks good. You can see quite a bit. You know, there's the city map. You can see some other stuff in here. I always like to check that out before I buy, because, like I said earlier, you know, if it's hard to read, you may not find it enjoyable after you purchase it. All right. Next title, The Wardancer, a 5e compatible martial archetype for the Barbarian class. And it's from Elder Gate Creations. It's only $1 at 8 pages by Joshua D. Jones. The Wardancer, guardian of the tribe, holding an important place in their society. Wardancers strike out at their foes and protect their homes by enhancing themselves with abilities that rival the magic of spellcasters. The young act as warriors, facing off against the tribe's foes as a first line of defense, using their war dance to weave the spirits around them. More experienced war dancers can alter their own bodies, while the truly skilled can take to the skies and seas in service to the tribe. All right. So, some interesting art in here. It's very carefully put together. Let's take a look at the full size. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. All right, and so this is the list of the features, and then it goes into the features. Very cool. I really like subclasses. Subclasses can be a lot of fun. So if you're looking for, you know, something different for your barbarian, you know, obviously you got to check with your DM if it's okay, or if you're a DM, you might allow this by buying it yourself. So cool to have another archetype for only $1. All right, next we have Basis for the Weary Adventurer by Justin Williams and Victor Perez. It's from Dawn Laser Games, and Justin P. Williams is the author. It's only $1 at 12 pages. At the end of the day, even the most road-weary adventuring party needs a place where they might toss their boots in the corner and hang their elven cloak. This small supplement provides rules for a quick system that players and DMs can use to create bases of operations. Having a base of operations gives adventuring parties a connection to the world you have created, while conferring small advantages. Many times, in fantasy RPGs, player characters end up with more money than they know what to do with, and this gives PCs an appropriate way to spend their hard-earned, stolen, taken, or looted monies. Isn't that the truth? Alright, so let's take a look at the preview here. So it goes into why you might give your PCs a base, and how do you get a base, and then it looks like they have slots. Yeah, so assigning remaining space and adding functional sections. Okay, very cool. Alright, definitely good. Yeah, if you're looking to try out a base, you know, it could be interesting. It's only $1, so you could definitely try it out and see if bases would work for you, or even just to have, you know, because maybe a base could come up. You know, maybe you've got some players that are always pushing the boundaries, trying to find new things to do, and, you know, if you have this, you could be ready for them. All right. Next, we have the Chronicles of Ares, a realm of enchantment in an age of magic and adventure, a high fantasy setting, but built only for 5e. I love this artwork. It is just stunning. It's from Dueling Dragon Adventures. I could look at that all day. It's $14.99 for 368 pages. Authors are Greg Lambert and Franklin Mills. It's an unofficial high fantasy world and campaign setting compatible with 5th edition, packed with nostalgia for the golden age of fantasy media and RPGs, from Tolkien to Dragonlance to the Dark Crystal and beyond. Over 20 years ago in high school, we started playing this game, and Ares was our homebrew world. That's nice. I love when those things carry on into the real world. Now we wanted to take those old school fantasy sensibilities and smash them headlong into a modern 5th edition universe. It contains everything you need to create fleshed out character or action-packed adventure within the setting. It's a full-fledged guide with races, NPCs, classes, destinations, all adhering to a cohesive theme and overarching story. You'll find 350 plus pages of content with full color illustrations from over 20 talented artists, 18 fleshed out races, 3 new player classes, a pantheon of colorful and fascinating gods and goddesses, an extensive history and lore of the realm, including a complete gazetteer, and full roster of NPCs, monsters, heroes, villains, and organizations, all geared with new story and gameplay hooks in mind, pre-written scenarios to help you launch directly into the game. So it looks like it started with Kickstarter, and they're recommending spread presentation. That's how I design my books too. So I definitely recommend that. If you see that, to at least once read through the book in spread format, which means looking at 2 pages at a time, side by side, because you kind of see the design differently. We're not going to be able to see it too much in the full size. We might be able to see that here. Sometimes though, with the spread design, this little quick preview screws it up. On mine, it's always screwed up. You're really seeing what's on the right is really going to be on the left when you look at it in spread. So that might be the case here. Yeah, it looks like it is, because see, you can see this map is kind of half off the page. In reality, you would see those 2 map pieces together of the spread. I wish they would figure out a way to fix that at DriveThru and DM's Guide to like help you stage that a little better. But wow, these interiors look gorgeous. Really good. I definitely want to get this. Yep. All right, let's look. I love full campaign settings. I mean, it takes a lot, guys, to write these books, and then when it's a campaign setting, I mean, you got to cover so many bases. I know, because I'm working on one, and you gotta cover so many different parts. So I applaud anybody that's able to get through all of those things here. But yeah, this looks really beautiful. I love the style and the template, and this map. Wow. Reminds me of the original Forgotten Realms box set maps with that sort of parchment style, and this edge is just epic. Very, very good. Yeah, I want to read through this whole thing. You know, if you're interested in being a writer, sometimes, you know, reading through this can like just trigger ideas. Like, you could just, here's something you could do. You could look at this page and not read anything yet, but just look at the picture of the castle, and it's just kind of like let it trigger ideas in your head of you know, what could be happening in the castle, what kind of stories are going on there. what kind of adventure hooks could make your characters go to that picture. And then, of course, you can read the page too and maybe get ideas. Depends on how you're inspired. I happen to be inspired very visually, so I love looking through other books, just not to take anything that they have, because I don't want to plagiarize anybody, but to kind of just trigger ideas or just get me thinking about a concept. Like maybe they're covering an archetype or something, and so by looking at an archetype, I start thinking about other archetypes that I could make. So it might just even be the mechanic that I'm inspired by. So, but wow, this looks fun. I mean, they've got the whole year 1000 to 1010. I love when settings do that, where they have this sort of calendar and a timeline. But this has such nice art accompanying it. It says the corruption of the ages. It says the good folk of Ares would soon learn that the Vulgrax operated their foul magic in the murky eastern land, sequestered far away in their black fortress of Blaisvar, deep in the heart of that uncharted continent. So, some of these you can read just like novels, right? So cool. I love adding lots of story to my work, so I love seeing that in lore and things like that in books like this, and certainly the Chronicles of Ares, especially since it started as these guys homebrew campaign, and they've now brought it out into the world. I'm sure there's just lots of lore in here, but I haven't read it, so I can't say that for sure, but it looks like it. $14.99, 368 pages. Check it out. All right, Codex Integrum Players Guide. It says HEMA-inspired D20 combat, magic as medieval scholars actually believed, everything you need for fast, bloody, and immersive historical game. Okay, that could be fun. It's from Codex Integrum. $14.99, 118 pages. Author is Gene Chandler. Says it's your gateway to historical gaming in medieval Europe and your interface to bring Codex Martialis combat rules into your RPG. This new source book does two things for players of Codex Martialis. First, it helps GMs and players integrate Codex Martialis combat rules into their game, whether that is a homebrew, some version of OGL, or another system. Second, introduces our new default campaign setting in late medieval Europe and includes many resources designed to help players and GMs run an actual RPG in a historical setting. And it says over here that it's an OSR title, but it also says system agnostic, so you might be able to make it work for 5e. I'm not sure. The Player's Guide provides setting information, simple character generation system with 14 new historically based classes. That's a lot of new classes. A thorough section on skills and unique special abilities, as well as equipment and loot tables. Sample NPCs, a glossary, and a FAQ to help answer your questions in this setting. All right, let's take a look at some of the previews. All right, some very nice art and layout. Yeah, I like this background they're using. It's very parchment feel as well. So yeah, you get the idea. You get to learn a lot about history, because some of this is true from our history, but it's helping you bring kind of what historians thought the battling was actually like. So that's cool. It's a different angle, and there's a lot of history buffs out there that also play RPGs. So check it out on DriveThruRPG. Next, we have Exploration of Willow Castle. It's a level 7 adventure, immersive one-shot for D&D from Derek Ruiz and Elvin Tower. All right, so it's $4.95 on sale, it looks like, so it might be a good time to get this. It says a group of level 7 adventurers learns about the Willows, an opulent family in the region. Rumor has it something odd happened at the castle. The same rumors describe horrible screams, monsters, and missing people. The Dragon Horn Road Inn is located near the castle. The owner, a dwarf called Lazaro Flint, knows more about this, though his information is vague and subjective. So that sounds interesting. You've got kind of this mystery. There's horrible screams and monsters and missing people, so it's kind of cool. You can kind of go in there and solve that if you're an adventurer. And of course, always the Elvin Tower artwork is beautiful. They've got portraits, they've got various maps. Now, one thing to call out, it comes in PDF and EPUB, so if you have an ebook reader, that's good. It's got a printer-friendly black and white version, and then there's separate high-res and Roll20 maps, which is nice. And then these are some of the adventure spreads up close, so you get a good look at those. Alvin Tower also has some free titles. I was kind of looking through some of their stuff previously, and they have some free titles as well. So might be worth checking that out. And if you're looking for a fun adventure for level 7, I mean, it's got nice art and fun sort of hook. So check this out. Next we have Monsters of Aach'yn. All right, it's from Explore Dungeons, and the authors are Chris Williams, Michael Mars, Russell, William Walker. $4.99 for 48 pages. I like this opening quote. "It's smiling at me. Surely that means it's friendly, right?" Famous last words. This book contains 5e stats for 38 monsters you will encounter on your travels in Aach'yn, include a large selection of the various Azite snake folk, the Chirikai turtle folk, the Croakan frog folk, and the Merkblut fish folk. Wow, lots of fun little like reptilian stuff going on there. I definitely want to look at this more. Monsters of Aach'yn is part of the Aztlan. Gosh, you guys are killing me today. Aztlan Awakens Kickstarter, which includes fiction of. I'm not going to read all that because I'm just going to butcher it. But it's got some fun stuff, and it looks like Aach'yn is seems to be dealing with a lot of different monsters and models here that you can 3D print. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong. If I am, correct me in the comments. I mean, I'm sure it's more than that, but it seems to at least involve some monsters that you can 3D print. Okay, so it's got all the stats for the monster and then a picture kind of the model or the miniature. So, okay, very cool. If you're into miniatures, I'm not sure if you can use these digitally. Probably could. You could probably make your own tokens out of some of the art if it doesn't, if they don't offer those as one of their other products or with this. But yeah, these are pretty well designed figures. So lots of actions. Cool. This one has 2 different bites. That's an interesting technique. But it says one is for more than half HP and the other is less than half. So interesting. They're experimenting with some stuff, and I like their little beholder logo there. Alright, so if you need some monsters, check out Monsters of Aach'yn. Next we have Rules for Collaborative Campaign Creation. Simple rules for creating a campaign with your players, as heard on Dungeon Talk, the official Wizards of the Coast podcast. It's by Teos Abadia, alphastream.org. And it is 10 pages. It says, 1 invested players. This guide provides a simple 6-step process to collaboratively build a campaign together with your players. Campaigns built with this process engage your players. They will feel like a part of your setting even before play begins, and will remember places and details better once play does begin. This technique gives players a stake in the setting, and they will look forward to seeing what you add to the world. It empowers you, the GM, with the setting your players understand. The secrets and surprises you add will resonate with your players. Can be used with D&D or other RPGs and provide the following: a simple 6-step process for creating or furthering campaign with your players before play begins, examples using both a published D&D setting and a custom setting, and an example setting created during the Dragon Talk podcast with host Shelly Mazanoble. Alright, so cool connection to a podcast. I need to check that podcast out. Says, came from the guest appearance on the Dragon Talk. Shelly Mazanoble and I discussed this technique and used it live on air to create a fantasy clockwork version of Seattle. Okay, the guide furthers concepts found in the Dresden Files RPG and games like Fiasco. Alright, so fun idea if you want to like collaborate with your players and make a campaign. I mean, there is a lot of talk about, how much campaign do you create, in advance versus how much do you create on the fly. This might be almost like a third option because you're creating it in combination with your players. So, some people say if you create all this campaign setting and then they never get to it, it's kind of a waste, which I disagree with, because you could always publish it or use it for another group of players. But Still, it's nice to have various options. Sometimes you need to do something quickly, or sometimes you just want to try something different. So check out Rules for Collaborative Campaign Creation on DriveThruRPG. Next, we have Scorched, an apocalyptic science fiction role-playing game. So this is a D20 OGL title. So if you like D20, this is for you. It also says it's compatible with OSR over here. It's 223 pages for $9.99 by Bloat Games, Eric Bloat and Joss Palmer. It says it's based on a simple concept. What if Luke never left Tatooine? It's definitely heavily Star Wars inspired, with the side of Mad Max thrown for good measure. And it has power armors. It's a standalone TTRPG, and it's fully compatible with the Blackest Space and can be used as a supplement to that game. It uses the BOD system created by Eric Bloat for the Blackest of Deaths RPG, but it's based on D20 OGL with updates and alternate rules, most notably the core mechanic: roll 1d20 and 1d6 simultaneously. When you attack, make a save, make a skill, etc., roll a d20 and a d6 and add any applicable modifiers to the d20 roll. If you meet or beat the target difficulty check or evade score, you succeed. On the d6, do not add modifiers unless specifically instructed, and ignore a roll of 2, 3, 4, or 5. For a roll of 1, add a hindrance, and for a roll of 6, add a benefit. Interesting. So they have like a different, they're kind of experimenting with the d6 a little bit there. So, and then they have a video as well that you can watch. Let's look at the previews. So it looks like if you guys are watching Bloat Games, it looks like your quick preview is not working. Alright, your full size. If there's a link to it, that means they intended for that preview to work, so it's helpful for these creators when they watch this video to discover some of the things not working. Happens all the time. I've had some of my titles not work. It's not a big deal. They can fix it quickly. It'll probably be fixed before you guys get a chance to even look at this title. So alright, let's see. So it can be played as a standalone game or a supplement. That's nice. Yeah, I like the focus on just one page with the information. It's probably good for reading on your phone or tablet here. Does seem pretty compatible with D&D, because you've got wisdom, intelligence, DCs, all that stuff. So probably easy to adapt this to other setups if you want. There's a lot of different sci-fi lands in here, and you can see all 223 pages in the preview. So if you really are curious about this book, I mean, there's no reason not to check it out, because you're getting to look at literally the whole thing, right? It even has some inspiration appendix here where you can look at movies they recommend. I love when books do that, so that people can kind of further their experience. Alright, Scorched on DriveThruRPG. Next we have Dungeon Age Orbital Vampire Tower. It's from Dungeon Age Adventures. Joseph R. Lewis is the author. $3.99, 26 pages. It says it's compatible with Osric, Labyrinth Lord, and 5e. So all kinds of options here. It says the ancient world of Hearth withers beneath its dying sun, but it's not dead yet. High in the night sky, a vampire's tower is torn apart by a rampaging angel. People and monsters are trapped. Magical treasures lie scattered everywhere. It's all yours for the taking, if you can find a way out before the angel finds you. Okay, so it sounds like a pressure cooker. It's a one-shot dungeon delve in space with vampires. So if you're looking for something, kind of sci-fi adventure, okay, so you can read some of the narratives and get some more information. It's got some design notes. Characters around a level 3. It runs about 3 to 5 hours, and 17 magical items, 17 monsters, and 17 unique rims. All right. He says, I swear I did not plan that. It just worked out this way. Very cool. Oh, okay. So it does have separate PDF files for the different systems. So there's a 5e one and OSR. So that's nice. You get kind of double for the money. And then there's some Dungeon Age novels that you can read. Alright, so let's look at some of these previews. Alright, loading a little slow today. Might be because they're intense here. But yeah, look, you've got this map of all the layers of this floating tower space. Very cool. I like too that they're not like flowing from page to page, that they're kind of like letting each section be its own set of pages. I do that in my books. Because, you know, if it's digital, why limit yourself and force flow? I know how to flow. I used to work in publishing. But if you don't have to, why not make it clean and make it easy to really look at some of these sections on their own? Very cool. All right, so lots of stuff in here. Treasure. We like treasure. Okay, on to our last DriveThruRPG title for the week, and then we'll go into DM's Guild. Lots of great titles there, so stay tuned. Intriguing organizations, the Gutter Guild. And it says, take a step out into the city and breathe the fresh air. It is not sweet, despite the many thousands of citizens relieving themselves without a care into the gutters, emptying their filth into the streets. And the river, people fish from it, even drink of the water. Have you not wondered how it is that the place so populated can seem so clean? And this is a quote from a custodian of the Gutter Guild. So it's from 𝙒𝙚𝙢𝙪𝙧𝙚, or Insider, however you want to say that, number 321, from Aach'yn Publishing, and 𝙒𝙚𝙙𝙀 as the author. It says, to protect cities from disease, this reclusive organization populates the sewers beneath with oozes and other detritus feeders that can clean waste and purify water sources. Although they provide a valuable service, the seeding of sewers with gelatinous cubes is easily misconstrued by a fearful public, so their work is done in secret, cultivating the dangerous creatures in hidden laboratories and releasing the monsters wherever cleaning is needed, a system that sometimes requires extra support from capable adventurers in order to function correctly. They got to probably corral these cubes into the right spots, and you know, gelatinous cubes are always fun. The GUI entry in the Intriguing Organization series includes dehydrated jelly, dust of ooze paralysis, ooze handler's gloves, the ooze handler CR2, and 3 ooze variants. So if you're into these oozes at all, which we had a title recently in this series that had oozes, so you could probably combine these together, then you can have like this whole ooze theme campaign. So let's look at the previews here. So we've got a couple pages here with the history and the background. The total pages are 5. So yeah, I do like the artwork. She's pouring something into the gutter here, and she's got a whole stash of stuff. Alright, check that out from Aach'yn Publishing, $2.99. Okay, on to the Dungeon Masters Guild. Before we talk about our first Dungeon Masters Guild title for the week, please subscribe to the channel, click that like button, leave us a comment, let us know which titles you're excited about, and consider buying one of our books to help support the channel. It really means a lot and helps us grow. Alright, the first title is A Book of Dragons, Most-Eccentric, 17 unique dragons that breathe new life into the game's oldest villain. So some cool art. Looks like some kobolds are bringing the head of a dragon somewhere. Wonder what they're up to. It's $4.95 from Gene Lorber, M.G. Brady, Zeke Gonzalez, and Jessica Markram. Some dragons were born to rule empires, shape civilizations, and amass mountains of treasure. This book is not about that kind of dragon. A Book of Most-Eccentric Dragons is an NPC compendium focused on unusual dragon characters that break all the tropes of this eldest of D&D foes. Sure, there are epic battles to be had and evil plots to be foiled within these pages, but there are also unexpected alliances, charming adventures, and meaningful stories to be found too. In the supplement, you'll find 17 fully described dragons, complete with everything you need to run them at your tabletop. Unique, quirky backstories filled with story opportunities, plans and motivations that lead to adventures, lair details and maps for some, descriptions of key minions and horde highlights, specific guidance on the types of adventures you could develop, and over 45 adventure hooks and seeds. Nice. Love adventure hooks. And, you know, I really love when there's backstories. Because then, you know, when you have time between games, you know, if you're a DM or just somebody who collects these books like I do, you can just sit and read, you know, so it's kind of like a a good downtime activity, just reading. I consider myself an artist, so as an artist, it's good to read other art and just get inspired, or just get in that mode. If you just work on your own stuff and you don't expose yourself to other art, it doesn't work out well. You need sort of that give and take feeling of just experiencing art and then creating art, and experiencing and creating, and back and forth. All right, 35 pages. So let's look inside here. So cool little background they got going on, and nice, clean, easy to read layout. I do like the art too. It's very playful. It's a very nice map. Not everything has to be so serious, right? And this is kind of a fun, playful look at the art. And the maps are really nice. All right, let's look at the bigger version. Oh, it's not found. Okay, so if you guys are watching, maybe check that out. But, I think you can still see quite a bit from looking at the previews. If you like dragons, I would definitely consider this, or you just want to read about some dragons. And then that's a lot of hooks. So check that out on the DM's Guild. Next, we have Uncertain Life, a level 0 to 3 solo adventure for the world's greatest role-playing game by David Bond. It's $10. 88 pages. So a solo adventure with 88 pages. That means you get a lot of playtime. You are languishing in a prison cell awaiting execution when a mysterious man opens a portal into your cell and offers you the chance of freedom. With no prior knowledge of the man, you have to make a decision. Will you face certain death in the morning, or step through the portal and embrace an uncertain life? It's available in both A4 and US letter formats, and can be played standalone or with a DM. So there you go. That's nice too. A lot of solo adventures, you don't have that option, and you go from level 0 to 3 with this. All right, let's look at some of the interior here. So it talks about creating your character. So it helps you also get your character started. Maybe this could be your first solo if you've never done a solo adventure. How to do all your setup here with your character. And then with most solo, they have like a number that says, go here to this, kind of like a choose your own adventure. Now go to section 29 or whatever, right? So Scarecrow here. I like the art. Let's look at the full size. So yeah, very cool. I like the kind of line art style they've got going on. And then, of course, all the numbering. And it looks like it's hyperlinked, which is really nice. So if you have a PDF and you're playing this by yourself, and it says go to or turn to 146, you can click that, and it's going to jump to that sort of bookmark in the PDF. I could be misspeaking here, so if that's not true, let me know. But it looks, because of the underline and the formatting, I'm assuming that's what's happening, which would be great. Makes the solo play a lot easier, because you don't have to flip the pages. You can go straight to it. So if you're interested in checking out some solo play, check out Uncertain Life on the Dungeon Masters Guild. Next, Encounters in Ravenloft by Never Not DM. Impress your players with these 10 horrific encounters. It's $9.99, 53 pages, by Never Not DM, Christian Zook, Jeremy Forbing, and Jack Weigel. Sorry if I mispronounced any of that. It's a 5e supplement that provides 10 encounters that enrich the experience of your players. The encounter will mention some suggested domains that you can use, but they can be run anywhere. It has detailed maps and lots of brand new creatures. So 10 encounters, 7 stat blocks for creatures and NPCs, 18 unique maps, 183 total, yes, nearly 200, with different versions that include rain, mist, no mist, night versions, all gridded and gridless. 1 unique map for each encounter, 8 random encounter maps. So even just the maps alone, I mean, you could use these for other things. They don't have to be exclusively for this adventure or these encounters. And with the, the Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft coming out, you might need some Ravenloft maps. You could use them with our book, Librum of Lineages, all kinds of stuff. So cool. Got quite a crew that do good work in here contributing, so I'm sure it's going to be good stuff. And I mean, look at these interiors. They've got this great layout, all this beautiful art. Yeah, nice maps integrated, and then I'm assuming you have the files you can also download. And looks like there might be a magic item in here. Very cool. And I mean, these maps are stunning, right? I love that. Okay, looks like your quick preview's not working, guys. That, or it's me. It might be my computer, because that's like the third one this morning. Although some of them have been working, so you might check that out. Okay, let's look at the full thing. We get to see some of these maps in their full glory here. Well, not their full glory, but bigger glory than we're seeing on the page. So yeah, got that Ravenloft feel down. Definitely feels, you know, like an official publication. But yeah, these maps are nice and very nice layout too. Lots of things breaking up the text, so it's not just a wall of text coming at you. Those can be deadly. Yeah, look at all this. It says the Oath of the Raven contains the words and abilities of the Paladin Sacred Oath option called the Oath of the Ravenkind, as well as one of their ancient spells, Aegis of Assault. Furthermore, it contains information on the holy symbol of Ravenkind. Cool. So this book is pretty cool. It's a book within a book, guys. Yep. See, so you can see some of these maps, and they've got some labeling. Very cool. Lots of stat blocks, nicely formatted, and then look at all these magic items at the end here. Holy symbol of Ravenkind. Yeah, this is definitely a fun one. I would like to read this. Yep. Wow. Cool stuff. So, you know, if you're just getting into Ravenloft with the Van Richten's Guide, this might be a great supplement to just further that. All right, next we have the Scarlet Piper. It's a 4 to 5 hour Rainbow Sails adventure for players 6th to 8th level by Penny Blake. It's a pay what you want, so I recommend paying more than 0 here. It's 19 pages. The wedding of local folk heroines Condra Blightsteel and Merlin Greengrove should be a cause for high spirits and merrymaking in the small town of Forgehampton. But a series of mysterious disappearances begin to cast a shadow over this joyous event. Okay, and it's for players 6th to 8th level, so that's a good little range if you maybe need something to continue your party. Maybe they're getting up there to 6 or 5, and you can transition into this adventure. It says, in my Rainbow Sails adventure series, I strive to pair quality storytelling and characters as unique, multidimensional, and diverse as the players in our wonderful gaming community. As a Romani writer and gamer, and as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, I feel that representation, diversity, and respect make for a richer gaming experience for all. I welcome your feedback to improve and expand the series. So that's cool. It's nice to see people from various backgrounds just putting their voice out there, right? And doing it for essentially free here, right? You know, Penny Blake wrote this 19 pages for free. If you don't want to pay anything for it, I do recommend contributing to her, because it takes hours and days and weeks, guys, to do these things for your enjoyment. So, you know, even if it's just $1, support these creators, especially when they have these unique voices, because we do need to encourage everybody to participate and make sure that we get some nice different options out there. I mean, it gets tired hearing from the same people over and over, so I love when we get new voices in there. All right, Build-A-Ware Workshop. I saw this in the newsletter this week, and it looked fun. And it still jumped out at me again when I was looking for the new releases this week. And it's so cool how it's kind of a parody of the Build-A-Bear Workshop, which I have been to, I have to admit. I made one for my grandma and she loved it. Willie Abil, Leon Barriero are the authors there. $7.95, 47 pages. And supplemental rule set for running, playing, and building custom werebeasts, from werewolves to werewolverines, lycanthropes, to Draco Rats, the only limit is your imagination. Oh, I want this book now. 47 pages that goes into what's, where's, and how's of the curse, including 12 pre-built lycanthropic player options revamped from the Book of House, including Were Octopus and Were Wasp. Oh my gosh, those would be fun. Plus 2 new options in the Were Drake and Were Mist. A guide to building your own Were creatures with 72 bestial features to choose from. You can have Were Frogs, Were Monkeys, and even Were Houses. Whoa. 2 new character options in the Lunatherians, the progenitors of lycanthropy, and the Shifter, the distant descendant of Werefolks. Template for quick making werebeasts, stat blocks, and applying lycanthropy to monstrous creatures. Plenty of commentary and insight from the great wizard and researcher Sir House the Draco. So I wonder if you create something with this, if you could put it in one of your books. It'd be a good question. If you guys are watching, let us know. All right. Very cool. Look at this layout. I mean, it looks just like the Build-A-Bear kind of guide they would give you if you go to the store or buy one of their Build-A-Bears. So, I mean, bravo to them for coming up with this concept. I mean, and look at this art. Gorgeous. You know, and it's only these 2 authors, you know, they came up with this all by themselves. Very, very cool. I love to see when it's just a few people knocking it out of the park with the idea. I'm sure it's selling well, I'm assuming, so definitely, you know, look at buying this, because we got to encourage that creativity. We want creators that are bringing things like this, like, you know, outside the box thinking to continue to bring us stuff, right? So you can do that by buying their book. All right, and again, links to every one of these titles alphabetically in the description, so just look for Build-A-Ware and you'll find it. Check it out. Okay, Selkie Player Race by Wilson Belshaw. And it says that they are whiskery warriors. Selkie are a diminutive seal people, a fact which lulls many into a false sense of security. What seems cute quickly shifts when lips curl and sharp teeth reveal themselves. If one comes after you, a bite will be the least of your worries, too. Those with knowledge of Selkies know they number among the greatest assassins in existence. Even those who know them might not recognize when a Selkie reveals itself. These seal folk don't just come with training in the covert of martial arts. They also have an ability to shapeshift. Oh, okay. Has lore rules. You can shapeshift by removing your skin. So it's an amphibious ninja. Interesting. And 7 pages for 95 cents. Pay what you want. Recommended 95 cents. So, alright. So, yeah, that's a cool looking little seal guy here. Or gal. Or non-binary. I don't know. Let's see here. Alright. So, yeah. It's nice they have a good amount of information about the race, some good pictures, and then all the traits. Very cool. If you're looking for a new race, maybe a surprising one, unexpected, a Selkie might be a good option. Next we have Proto-Dragons, 12 new monsters, and 7 mix and match templates that total up to 36 new monsters. Alright. And then 48 new monsters down here, so I'm not sure how many are in here. But Linmos knows, and it's 19 pages, and $2 is the suggested price. Pay what you want, so you can go up or down from that, but definitely pay something. Have you ever wanted to run a prehistoric campaign and just couldn't find the right antagonist, or wanted to know what was before the dragons? Well, this supplement has got you covered. With 12 full stat blocks and 7 mix and match templates that total up to 36 new monsters, totaling 48 stat blocks. So it must be 36 monsters, but 48 stat blocks. Okay, I get it now. My bad. I was confused. In full, ranging from low to high level encounters. Something for everyone. All right, let's look. Yeah, cool. The stat blocks are very well formatted, very Wizards-like. So if you're used to reading those, it should be easy to read that. All right, yeah, very Wizard style. So you should have no trouble reading through this. Looks pretty clean. I'm not seeing like mistakes, errors. I used to be an editor, so those things jump right out at me. Very cool. Alright, if you need some Proto-Dragons, so this is before the dragons that we know today. You would have Proto-Dragons, so check it out. Next we have Ivaldi's Acts of Artifice and Other Interesting Incantations by Nate Butler, and Tyrone Pounds did the graphic design and layout. It's another pay what you want title with a suggested price of $1. Collection of spells for all classes to provide new and unique options for your casters. So lots and lots of spells. I always love reading spells and looking at spells. My next book has some spells in it. I actually sent it to the printer this week, so soon we will get the test copy. So please stay tuned for that. Alright, look at these spells here. We've got all kinds of levels. So they got cantrips through 8th level. So quite a wide variety of levels here for your spells. And they're including the at higher levels. That's always nice. Makes a spell a little more versatile to have those options later. I like the name of this, Doom Drum. Corrosive Smite, it's first level. The next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, your weapon creates a splash of caustic liquid, and the attack deals an additional 1d6 acid damage. Each creature, except yourself, within 5 feet of the target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 acid damage. And then it does more things at higher levels. And you've got Electrified Aura. I like auras. Auras are a good thing to do spells for. Alright, so you get to see 6 of the 19 pages in the preview, and the layout's very clean. Good job there. Okay, so if you're looking for some spells and options for your casters, check this out. Next we have Dungeon Master Aid, Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, boxed flavor text. Level 6 Lost Level, written by Matthew Morier. It's 23 pages, 99 cents. It's a really good price there. So it says, if you're like me, you like to step into a game fully prepared. I picked up Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage and was really disappointed to see that there was no boxed flavor text. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great content in there, but I have a hard time coming up with room descriptions on the spot. I'm hoping there are others out there like me, others who will be able to take advantage of what I'm preparing for my own players. The idea is to slowly, over the course of the next year, release flavor text for each level of Undermountain. This module contains descriptions for the 6th floor, Lost Level only. So, it seems like, the adventure itself doesn't have a lot of flavor text describing the rooms, and so this author wrote that. So I like this angle. It's a unique product. I haven't seen anything like this. It sounds like he's going to do a whole series. Maybe he can bundle them all together so you can get, once he's done, to get all of the Undermountain titles at once. So if you're just looking for the flavor text for the whole adventure, you have it. But he says here, I've never been a fan of catch-all descriptions, so I attempted to approach each area from several angles if necessary. This means that some rooms will be broken down into several sections. Here are the most common: occupied, if seen, unoccupied, and then there's an Excel combat tracker. So that's nice. You've got kind of read this if it's occupied, read that if you're seen, read this box if it's unoccupied. And this Excel workbook is a combat tracker that contains summary stats for all monsters located within the 1st floor. It also includes the ability to auto-calculate attack and damage rolls for each monster. You could use it in other spreadsheet programs as well. So here's some sample text from Milara's Tabernacle. The floors of this room are tiled in green marble, their hue perfectly matched to the lifelike forest scenes painted upon the walls. A tiger stalks amidst the painted trees, his eyes seeming to follow you wherever you go. This tiger is not alone, however, as several other predators hide within the shadowy scenery. In the center of the room is a block of solid white marble, its surface stained in blood. A skeleton clad in tattered hide armor lies several feet away. The haft of a broken spear is still within the dead man's hand, while the spear's point lays near the block of marble. Near the corpse is a splintered shield, its wood charred nearly to cinder. So this sounds good. You definitely, it gives you more of a feeling, a visual, that theater of the mind that we like, with Dungeons and Dragons. And I thought this was well written, no punctuation issues, etc. Was easy to read. Sometimes authors really should read things aloud that they write, because you trip up on things when you're reading it aloud and you find where there's mistakes. I always do that when I'm writing. And so I read that aloud and I didn't trip up. So that's an important sign of quality. Now, I haven't read all of these, so I can't say that's true for all of them. So, make your own judgments. But I will say that first one definitely was, highly readable. So if you're a DM and you want to read these out loud. So you've got the Umber Hulk tunnel here. The enormous claws that dug into this tunnel have left numerous gouges along the corridor's length, roughly hewn. The occasional showering of dirt seems to hint that the tunnel could collapse at a moment's notice. So again, very clean. This person seems to have experience, or at least they've edited their writing. Your first draft a lot of times has extra phrases, words in it that you don't need, and you can cut all that out. And especially for a product like this where it's designed to be read aloud, it seems like this author has done that. So I'm intrigued by this, looking forward to more. So check it out if you want something very different and you're thinking about playing this Undermountain dungeon. All right, Codex Vampiris Maior, an unofficial collection of custom vampires and non-human vampire spawn. Alright, so, Ravenloft's big right now. Might need some vampire stuff. 112 pages, or even without, Ravenloft, you can use these vampires. $4.37 suggested price on Pay What You Want. Ever found it annoying that you want to have vampires in your adventure, but gotten stuck at the fact that the default vampires are all human, and it is a bother to tweak them to fit some other humanoid race? Well, here's a solution for you. All for the low price of Pay What You Want. Doesn't matter if you want a dwarf, dragonborn, Githyanki, or a Grimlock vampire spawn, the Codex has it all. And if that wasn't enough, there's also 18 other vampires in here, ranging from simple thralls all the way through swarmers, ferals, mistweavers, up to the dreaded elder. These new vampires do not necessarily obey the limits and powers of the standard vampires. Some abilities are missing, others improved, or simply replaced with something completely different. Your players will definitely not know what hit them. So 18 new types of vampires from challenge rating 2 all the way up to 25. So that's a wide range. Very nice. 73 stat blocks. 73 templates. Humorous disclaimers. And stories woven into the Codex to give inspiration and enjoyment to you as a reader. I love that, as I've said earlier in this video. I try to do that in my books. So you've got lesser vampires. Yeah, lots and lots of stat blocks, and then there's this humorous description up here and quotes, it looks like. Yeah. When you can incorporate those stories, it just gives you more enjoyment even by yourself, which is nice. So yeah, you've got quotes up here. So this one says, my discovery of the text about the origins of many types of lesser vampires was a victory. It provided me and my fellow hunters with weapons against the vampires. Larissa Abascu, Vampire Hunter. So yeah, so you get some little tidbits. And yeah, these are very nice. Again, they're giving the stat blocks room to breathe so that you can just focus on each one. You're not kind of overwhelmed with too much going on a page. So yeah, if you need some vampire stat blocks and templates, this is a good option for you. Alright, next is Grimbuckle's Guide to Crafting, Jewelry Edition. Collection of crafting recipes for jewelry. It's 99 cents, which is cheap. Dave Albin, and it's 14 pages. I have expanded my crafting recipes to those pertaining to the crafting of arcane jewelry. I consulted with the best experts and did some discovery of my own. As you know, crafting a magical item is no easy feat. In addition to time, resources, and the necessary skills, one needs rare materials and lore. Each piece of arcane jewelry within Dungeons & Dragons core rules up to Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft are included. There are 41 recipes, all requiring an ingredient or quest from a monster that is within the Dungeons & Dragons core rules. So, interesting. So they've... Let's see if we can view this picture here. Maybe if we do it in a new tab, it'll... Nope, still small. Okay. Not sure. Yeah, alright. So let's go back to that. Can't find it. Alright, we'll search for it. Grimbuckles. Here it is. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I thought I could get to a bigger picture, but it didn't go to bigger. So anyway, it looks like they've got all these rings from the books, you know, the core rules, and they're adding information on how to get the you know, create the item, you know, adding details, expanding it, because there's 41 recipes, and it looks like you're going to have to interact with monsters to craft these things. So if you have players that are like asking about crafting, or they want more crafting, or even you just like crafting, like I do, this could be a really cool option, especially since it sounds like it covers a lot of the existing magic items. So this could be a good thing, you know, to go to, especially for 99 cents, guys. You can reach for this and, you know, fill in those blanks if somebody's like, I really want to craft a bag of holding or whatever. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. So Grimbuckle's Guide to Crafting Jewelry Edition. But it sounds like it's just focusing on the jewelry, but still, I mean, there's a lot of jewelry, amulets, rings, things like that. So maybe they'll do some more on other items. All right, Bats Outta Cell, a vampire jailbreak. The stakes are high in this 3-hour one-shot for 4 level 5 vampires. By Daniel K. 19 pages for $3.99. A paladin order ambushes a small group of vampires and takes them to their prison. A prison specifically built to keep vampires in. Stalked through the heart in their coffins. Do the vampires stand any chance of escape? Especially with notorious vampire hunter Hector Van Landegast, the vampire bane, and the Scourge of the Fang keeping his watchful eye on him, or on them. So another Ravenloft kind of related thing. Doesn't have to be Ravenloft. You can use it for other things, but if you're looking for vampires, this got you covered. It looks like you can make your own vampire, turn into a bat, float inches off the ground, climb on walls, charm or frighten your foes. So that's cool. Pre-generated characters. So since this is a one-shot, they're giving you 4 pre-generated ones to just kind of help you get up to speed quickly. You got maps of the prison, the guardhouse, and the cave. 14 maps altogether. And playing as vampires allows the party to lean into their evil side a bit more. And you know, with these pre-generated characters, maybe you don't want your players to always play vampire, but with this, you can, you know, they're pre-generated, so you could just have, say, we're going to do a one-shot where you're going to play different characters, you're going to be vampires, and that's it, and then you're done. No more vampire fun. Or you could continue it, it's up to you, but, you know, if you want to kind of box it in, so it's not like something you have to deal with all the time, this might be a fun way to do that. It's the first of a planned series of one-shots that allow players to play as creatures from across the lore of D&D. So that's another angle. So today we've been seeing some angles, you know, from different voices to, you know, Build-A-Ware to, you know, let's do flavor text, and now we've got a series that's letting you play as creatures. So that's why I love doing these videos, guys, is like, you know, this stuff rolls off the main page. You know, you've got that main page that shows you new releases, and it goes away because there's constant releases coming out every single day. It goes away. So these videos will be around. You can go back through old episodes, discover stuff that you missed. It's still on these sites. You know, click the links in the description and get to these books. All right. And it says, I would give our run through a 10 out of 10. It is definitely a unique idea to play as vampires. I also enjoyed how each room was so immersive and fun to interact with. So that's nice. They've got some playtester comments. Ooh, nice color scheme here. Very vampire-esque, but still has that wizard feel. Yeah. I think this could be fun, you know, and it's the first of a series. Try it out, and then, you know, if you like it, you can check out Daniel K's future monsters. I'll be curious to see what monsters. You know, I think a fun one, Daniel, would be maybe like a dryad or some like fey creature. that would be really cool. So think about it. Okay. Bloodline Background, 𝙒𝙚𝙙𝙪𝙧𝙚 from Dion Fernandez. Lurk in the shadows or blaze like a wildfire. The 𝙒𝙧𝙧𝙪s are reviled throughout the domains for their treachery, and you have inherited their infamy. In this document, you'll find a quick overview of what each 𝙒𝙧𝙧 knows about their despised lineage, the 𝙒𝙧𝙧 bloodline background, a collection of new trinkets and magic items that only a 𝙒𝙧𝙧 may possess. It's one of a series detailing player character options for the great houses of Ravenloft. So again, another Ravenloft related thing, and it's a series, so that's cool. So we've got the quick preview here. Like that art is gorgeous. And it looks like it might be done by the author, Dion. Yeah, that's cool. Yep, another nice color scheme for Ravenloft. So if you want to find out more about one of the houses, this is a good option for you. Alright, next we have Forgotten Realms, Trinkets of Kozakura. Trinkets of Kozakura, Volume 1, from David Stevens. It's 12 pages, $2. It says it introduces 100 new trinkets from the country of Kozakura. It's the first in a series to expand Kozakura out of its 80s vibe and breathe new life into the cultures of Eastern Realms. We're seeing lots of new series today, and I love this. Guys, keep doing this. It's exciting that we have so many creative people working on these titles. The culture of Kozakura inspires the trinkets presented in the supplement from the Eastern Realms. They bring an additional layer of depth to any Kozakura-based campaign. In Eastern-style Domains of Dread in the Ravenloft setting, so you can use it there as well. Many of the curiosities are designed as plot devices to inspire side quests and one-shot adventures. So it's the merest fraction of what you can find wandering the cities and countryside of Kozakura. You can find 100 new trinkets, 10 new art pieces, 10 new magic items, and 6 pieces of equipment. So this goes beyond trinkets. Trinkets you think of are these little things. It's got more than that. So some nice artwork here. Definitely gives you that vibe of Kozakura. So it looks like it starts with the trinkets, so it goes into all of those. I love trinkets. I like reading about them. Again, inspiration, right? You just read about a trinket and then you think, oh, I want to make a trinket. And then it just snowballs. And next thing you know, you've written way more words than you planned to write for the day, which is good. Yeah, very cool. So you get to see, 79 of the 100 trinkets in the preview, guys. So really, definitely recommend checking it out. Get the vibe for it yourself. It's only $2, and it's here on DM's Guild. Next, we have Rivals and Friends 1, part of the Dragon Drop series. It's from Rinaldi Sinet and Michael Cordero for $3.99, 15 pages. So these NPCs are easily inserted into any D&D game. They can serve as allies, rivals, enemies, or drinking buddies in the various inns and taverns of the world. Many of them are tied loosely to other organizations or kingdoms, which have been left general enough to fit easily with whatever lore is already at work in your world. Art Lord's stories. Once upon a time we had a dream. We wanted to build a community of digital artists and bring together the art they created. One of the approaches was to create a context for the art, a story, a character, a concept, something the audiences could sink their teeth into. Our goal was always to elevate the art, make people go beyond simply glancing at an artist's study and moving on. We wanted to mark them. One way to do this was to dwell with gamers. Several of our articles dabble in ideas and concepts for tabletop RPG gaming, things like 5 adventure hooks inspired by digital artwork and the like. We decided, why not fully realize the dream? This booklet you hold is part of the larger dream. We want you to play, to think, to feel, to delve deep into the digital art we curated for you. So it's cool that they're out there looking for art and bringing it to you in the form of NPCs in this example, but maybe they're going to do, since it's a Drag and Drop series, there's probably going to be some other art. Wish we could see some more of it in the samples, but we do get to see it in the cover. You know, there's some beautiful art here on the cover, so I'm assuming that's inside. But yeah, if you guys are watching, you might want to add like an image in here, so at least let us see one or more of the pieces of art. I mean, some of this down here, or the video probably also shows some of it, but since the art is such a key part, it'd be cool to see a little more. But I love this art. I mean, it's gorgeous. This guy looks like an interesting character, and that's what you want when you want NPCs. So if you need NPCs, guys, check out Drag and Drop Rivals and Friends 1. The next we have the Banners of Breland, or Breland, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, for Eberron. And it is from Ferret Foundry. Cool little company name there. 34 pages. Says, after an expedition into the Mournland reveals that it may be safe to approach the glowing chasm, adventurers are tasked with braving the twisted horrors of the Mournland in search of banners from 6 Brillish platoons who never returned from war. But it seems like the Mournland itself has different plans for the heroes. Will it even let them leave? It's a adventure designed for a party of 8th level players. It can be played as one shot, running between 3 to 6 hours, or take place over multiple sessions. So 10 new monsters, 9 RPG music tracks. Okay, so you get some audio. You also get some VTT tokens, 7 new magic items, paper minis, and a battle map. So it looks like these creators collaborated. Very cool. So there's a Mournland Elemental, tables for a new supernatural region, 3 brand new living spells, custom art, 50 by 34 map. Nice. So very, very fun ideas here. They don't have a preview, but you can still see quite a bit here. You can see it's formatted very Wizards-like. And then there may even be cards. I can't tell for sure, but it looks like there might be some cards for the magic items. And yeah, the artwork looks nice. Lots of stuff for $3.99, 34 pages. Very good. Okay, on to Dragon Bowl. It's a 5e D&D adventure, Blood, Games, and Glory. I love this cover, very comic book style. It's from Duncan Rhodes' Hipsters and Dragons, and it is $14.95 for 306 pages. That's a lot of pages, guys. And this $14.95 price is only until the end of May, so that's this weekend. So if you're watching this video, you might want to jump on it if you like this. It says it's a setting and pulp action adventure in one. It plunges a party into a rich festival scenario that revolves around deadly gladiatorial contest, where the dangers they face in the arena are almost secondary to those they encounter in the murky criminal underworld they find themselves in. A world that stinks of corruption, human trafficking, illegal dinosaur trading, necromancy, blood sacrifice, and unnatural arcane experiments. Wow, those poor dinosaurs. We gotta rescue them. That's cool. That's a good angle. The action takes place in a vast cavern in Mount Waterdeep, known as the Underbelly, where not only Dragon Bowl Arena, but also an entire festival grounds consisting of temples, bars, casinos, fun fairs, and markets has been constructed to host this grand sporting extravaganza. So there's faction missions. You can, because they've got Xanathar, Jarlaxle, Delval, Volo, and Black Viper there. It can be played as a sequel to Waterdeep, which is nice, so Forgotten Realms stuff, and or as a first step toward Undermountain. Or it can be standalone. And look at this. I mean, it's just stunning. I love this flowchart for the adventure. I mean, it's nice to help you visualize. It says all 3 pillars of play: combat, social interaction, and exploration. So adventure designers out there, think about those pillars, right? But look at how nice it looks. It looks very Wizards-esque, beautiful art. I feel like this is the first title from this author too, based on something I read elsewhere. I could be wrong, but I mean, great start to have such a nice looking product and concept here. So they introduced the Dragon Bowl. You get the party started, and then you get into all these groups here. And there's locations, events, endgame, and you can read the whole first chapter. I mean, look at these beautiful stat blocks for characters. Wow, I want this book. And there's 15 things to do at Dragon Ball. So, wow, there's a lot on this page here. Like, oh wow, look at that. And these maps, my goodness. So the author's a professional travel blogger, adventure designer, and RPG blogger. So maybe this isn't. Oh, he has already released best-selling products on the DM's Guild. So I'm wrong. This is not his first product. I was thinking of somebody else. So yeah, he's definitely come a long way. I would love to maybe collaborate someday with this guy because he makes good stuff. All right, or I don't know. It could be other people, not just a guy working on this. Okay, so that's Dragon Ball. Check it out on DM's Guild. Next we have Finding Familiar, rules for evolving over 20 new familiars. Who doesn't like familiars? I want one in real life. And it's from Never Not DM for $4.99, 25 pages. So it's beautifully laid out, 16 pieces of adorable original art, over 20 new familiars with detailed lore, rules for familiar evolutions, 6 plot hooks to jumpstart familiar evolutions, and tokens ready for any VTT tabletop of your choice. So it was written by Never Not DM, and yeah. Here's some boxes here. It says, or not boxes, more characters here for you to look at. And goes into what a familiar is and befriending a familiar here, and then it talks about the evolutions and then some of the base familiars and then the evolutions. Not letting it load because it's taking a little while here, but that's probably because it's some high quality art, so you get to see, and it may be just taking a while to load. I think this is on my end here, but there's 25 pages and you get to see 22 of them in that view, which is nice. So I'm guessing it's going to take a minute to show up here, but I mean, I've seen a few books here on Dungeon Masters Guild starting to, expand the options you have with familiars, and I think that's great. I mean, you could build a whole campaign around people, especially if you have players that are like, I want a familiar, and bugging you for a familiar. Then you could show up and like give them like the campaign of familiars to end all campaigns of familiars, and just like really say, okay, I will see you a familiar and raise you a whole campaign. You're going to be evolving your familiars. You're going to be doing all sorts of familiar stuff, especially if you combine this with maybe some of the other titles on DM's Guild with familiars. Yeah, I really like familiars. I've got a little something in one of my future books related to familiars. Nothing like this, just a little kind of subclass thing that involves a familiar, and it's exciting to me. So stay tuned. We got lots of titles coming, guys. I'm up to my eyeballs and cool stuff coming your way, so I hope you stay tuned for more. All right, so it's loaded here. Let's look through this. Who is your familiar? Befriending your familiar, plot hooks, and then got stat blocks, and then let's look at these evolutions. So it evolves. Okay, so it kind of like gets ability scores or various things happening to it as it goes, and then as it goes from common to uncommon, it gets new abilities, very rare. Okay, so that's fun. That's different. Kind of like Pokemon, but more D&D focused and thought out. All right, nothing against Pokemon, it's just a different way of doing stuff. So very cool. Check it out. Next title is Animal Handler by Scott and Ashley Ropel. Claim mastery over a special type of animal in this new background. So this could go along with that familiar campaign. Maybe it's all about animals, or you could even rescue dinosaurs from the Blood Bowl. All right. So what makes an animal handler? Is it a love of animals and the peace of nature? Is it a haggard tracker who embraces nature's violence? Perhaps it's a researcher chasing after rumors of an unknown species. Whatever draws your character to animals, this background allows them to fully explore it. Become a master of a special group of animals, including an option for the Underdark, in this character background that features watercolor animal art and unique proficiencies. And it's 95 cents, 5 pages. So yeah, so you've got this sort of ideals, bonds, flaws for your background here. Let's look at the full page. Yeah, so you can get into the animal background here. So it says my life's purpose is to protect an animal species that is endangered. So that's a cool one. Here's one of the flaws. Animals are much easier to read than people. I have trouble communicating and understanding social contexts. Okay, yeah. So you can have a character that's more comfortable around animals than with people. So that's a good story launching pad. Okay. All right, on to the next one. Oaths for the Devoted. 4 paladin oaths for those dedicated to others. I like this art. I don't know where. It looks like William Hallett maybe did this, but it's really fun. $2 from Gollum. And it says, can you devote yourself to service over self? Try one of the 4 new paladin oaths that you put the welfare and advancement of others above your own. Oath of the Adjudicator, a law enforcer who excels at limiting their opponent's escape and bringing criminals to justice. Oath of the Final Vow, a warrior who can stave off death better than anyone and rallies others when things grow dire. Oath of the Guardian, a protector who prioritizes the safety of select individuals and groups. Oath of the Mentor, a teacher who develops and elevates those around them, rather than seeking personal glory. Cool, okay. So, nice artwork in here. Let's see what the full-size preview. It's 9 pages. And you get to see 3 of them, which is good. That's a good, reasonable amount for 9. Yeah, so well laid out. Got your oaths. Yep. If you are interested in a paladin, for $2 you can get 4 different oaths to try out. And that could be awesome, especially if you may be tired of the ones that you've been playing with, or want to just try something new. So down here it says has some description. So Oath of the Guardian is a protector who prioritizes the safety of select individuals and groups. Oath of the Mentor, a teacher who develops and elevates those around them rather than seeking personal glory. Very cool. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of some of the backgrounds in my first book, Secrets of the Draugr. So those backgrounds might go good with the oaths here. So that's it for the titles this week. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Please stay tuned for more. We have so much more coming your way. More D&D videos, more books. Support us by clicking the links in the video description or buying our books. Van Richten's Librum of Lineages is only $2.99, so it's a quick way to support the channel. It's a fun book. We think you'll like it. And until next time, happy adventuring.